On May 1st, the citizens of Austin will decide whether to change our form of government. We oppose Proposition F.
Why would we change our form of city government away from what got us to where we are today? And at the end of the day, that's really the reason why I'm a co-chair, is to help preserve who we are as a city.
Those proposing Proposition F want you to believe that our current form of government is racist. That is not only wrong, but is an insult to people who live the Black experience, do anti-racism work, and have died in this fight for racial equality.
I don't understand how anyone can say that the city manager form of government is inherently racist. I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama during segregation days. I know racism when I see it. Under a certain leadership, it could function that way, but function does not make it inherently that way.
I'm opposed to Proposition F because the entire process has lacked transparency. There's been no opportunity for public debate. There have been no focus groups. Why these individuals are pushing so hard for the adoption of a form of government that's so radically different from what this city has had for decades, and which has served our city well.
And I hear it from the residents and my constituents, specifically in my district, but it's all across the city. They feel like when they have a concern, if the mayor doesn't agree, no matter what the city council would do, the mayor could veto it. Because if this strong mayor passes, if Proposition F passes, your voice will never again have the amount of power that it does today.
Labor believes Prop F is nothing more than a veiled attempt to consolidate power and unfortunately put frontline and essential workers at risk. That's why the Laborers International Union of North America is fighting to make sure this does not pass.
I think the system works the way it works right now. You have a certified professional in the city manager take charge of the administration, and you have a council of community leaders and people who are invested in their districts and know what goes on, making the decisions. And it's a perfect balance. It's best of both worlds. It gets things done.
For over 100 years, the City of Austin has governed ourselves with a strong city manager form of government, and it's been successful. And along with the recent change, only 7 years ago, to go to district representation, those work together. And we feel like consolidating that into a single position with the mayor is not good for the citizens of Austin.
Historically, they're more subject to corruption and fraud than the council manager system. And the reason for that is that they can bestow favors and create obligations that people to them.
Public health and public safety are two of the most important things that a city does, and we don't need to bring in politics into that. And that's what I'm afraid would happen if we vote for a strong mayor.
I am a common sense citizen of Austin who cares about the attractiveness, the economic viability of the city, but without it going overboard, and I oppose Proposition F. F is in failure.
So I think it's important for voters to understand, if this goes through, your mayor is the one who's going to put department heads in each department. Man, don't Chicago my Austin. Keep cronyism out of City Hall.
I think a broad coalition has come up and spoken against the strong mayor form of government. We are all unified in agreeing that a strong mayor would limit power from the people and give it to one person. And that is something that we can all agree is not good.
How are you supposed to know what's going on in your community? Who are you supposed to go and talk to? So for me, at first I felt angry, I felt frustrated, I felt like I wasn't considered in this, and I feel like that's not what Austin is.
Have you voted in a May election? Almost nobody does, and that really makes me question why we need to do this now. And if we're trying to be progressive and we're trying to represent democracy, why are we putting it on such a low turnout election?
8 years ago, we adopted a council form of government that represented each of those cultural, economic, and ethnic diversity on our council. Why would we ever vote to put all of that collective voice into one person? That one person would then have no need to either respect or listen to those diverse voices. I oppose Proposition F because I believe the collective wisdom of those voices is better for Austin.
I've been around city government for over 35 years. I've seen 9 mayors, I've seen 7 city managers, and this system works for us. And why would we tinker with it now?
By having the strong mayor, it would take away the hard work that the city of Austin, the community has done to bring the 10-1 in, where we all have fair and equal representation.
I was the chairman of the Charter Commission, which adopted and passed through the single-member districts. We had decades of input from people on this, and we finally got done. This other strong mayor form of government, not now. I don't know why it's needed.
The manager form of government evolved as a reaction to excesses of the strong mayor. And we've seen recently what an aspiring autocrat can do to forms of government. I just don't want to open that door.
We all know this is bad for the city of Austin, and all of us together can make a difference, and we can win this thing and keep Austin, Austin.